UFC 318 is just around the corner, and I'm here to give you my picks, my predictions, possible bets, and how I see the whole card going. Now, if you're new around here, I'm doing this purely because I have passion for the sport. I've been watching consistently for about 3 to 4 years. You can call me the young blood, alright? New blood around these parts. But I do genuinely take my pick seriously, even though I'm not betting on every single fucking pick or whatever, you know, gamblers do these days, okay? I'm one of you sometimes, but, yeah, this card is a fucking landmine. I feel like, hey man, listen man, I watch a lot of MMA YouTubers, partially why I started my YouTube channel, but I feel like everyone's like, yo, I'm gonna sweep this fucking card. I'm gonna be honest, man. This might be the biggest landmine card I think I've ever seen. Okay, of my 3. Maybe there's been more, but holy shit, are there some oh fuck moments that are gonna be had on this card where you're just like, man, I'm 100%. Oh, he just got head kicked. I'm 100% confident in this guy. Oh, he just got fraud checked. Like, bro, this card reeks of, like, split decisions, random knockouts out of fucking nowhere. It's gonna be a rough one, but strap in for the ride. I'm here to give you my picks and predictions, you know, and, yeah, let's just roll into the card here. First off, we have Carly Judice versus Nicole Cagliari.
Get the fuck off the card.
I think that's her name. Now, obviously, as I'm a veteran when it comes to watching UFC, I know these women very closely. Okay, Carly Judice, you know, she's 4-2. Okay, you know, that's something. You know, yikes. So if you're new around here, I do this tried and true method. Some people use the pick doctor. Some people fight simulate shit. You know, but two fighters 100,000 times to get the best results, most consistent results. Some people use logic and reasoning on why they pick their women fights. I myself like the tried and true method of the coin. Now, there's some cases where I might go against the coin, but I don't think we're gonna be going against the coin here, because a lot of these women fights, the women fights on this card are looking a little rough. All right, so heads on the left, tails on the right. Let's see what we get, baby. Tails. What did I say? Tails on the right, heads on the left, tails on the right. Yeah, I think that's the norm. Ooh, the underdog. All right, well, you know, okay, well, she lost a split decision. It was probably close. Karma's coming her way. She's gonna win this fight via split decision. Okay, you know, Nicole. You know, she's the not taller, not reachier women fighter. You know, she's 2 years older. What can I say, man? She's got fucking, you know, plot armor. Anyways, who cares? Split decision for Nicole Cagliari, whatever the fuck her name is. Moving on. Bruno Ferreira versus Jackson McVeigh, also known as the first fight of the night. This is actually the I know I'm gonna be taking a shit during this fight, but if this is the first fight of the card, I mean, you know, I've got, you know, okay, UFC, we're cooking with these prelims, okay? But Bruno Ferreira, Jackson McVeigh. The first UFC fighter I think I ever bet on was Bruno Ferreira, and that was to knock out Gregory Rodriguez, because Jacob from We Want Picks pointed out that the fact that Gregory had his fucking skull out like a month or two before Bruno Ferreira's debut. Now, with that being said, I'm very biased. I like Bruno Ferreira, and also I'm a UFC fan. I'm not a LFA fucking Bumville fucking Peaches and Creamville fucking watcher, okay? I am a UFC fan. You know, occasionally we look at 1FC, okay? Occasionally we go to 1FC, sometimes. But other than that, I don't give a fuck about these other promotions. I don't know anything about Jackson McVeigh. I do know people breaking him down from the Cedric Dumas fight. Everyone was saying, like, how he was going to beat Cedric Dumas. There was, I think, a small, very small portion of the community on Cedric. But a lot of people thought Jackson was going to get it done. If I remember correctly, this is a guy who has very scripted-looking finishes via submission. Yeah, I think it's like this stuff where it's like he'll latch it in really clean, but it's almost like his opponents are giving him the position. From my understanding, it's like a Jalen Turner. Like, you know, they just put themselves into a fucking arm bar when, you know, they can clearly just move their head. But no, they put their head into the position. They get submitted by Ignacio Bahamondes, you know, shit like that. Bruno Ferreira, I'd be lying to you if I wasn't worried he gasses out in round 3, okay? But I do think Bruno Ferreira is one of these, like, tricky dudes who is technically good everywhere. His problem is literally just the gas tank. If this guy had a good gas tank, bro, he'd be Dricus Duplessis level, okay? If this guy had a fucking gas tank, let me tell you. But I do think Ferreira's going to win this. Heavy favorite. I should probably not look at the odds, but I think I've seen them anyways on DraftKings and shit, so no sense trying to hide it, alright? You know, I don't like looking at the odds because they influence my pick, but unfortunately, cat's out of the bag, so I can't really not look at the odds on most of these fights. Yeah, we're going to go with Bruno Ferreira, some sort of finish in round 1. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a sub, to be honest. I don't give a fuck about this Jackson McVeigh guy, alright? This is a Bruno Ferreira era, okay? Bruno Ferreira's going to dog walk this kid, probably struggle a little early. I think like minute 1, we're going to be like, oh shit, Bruno's getting tagged a little bit here and there. And then by minute 2, by the end of minute 2, it's like, oh shit, Bruno's in his flow state. This guy's looking like an elite fighter. You know, getting in there, fucking right hand down the pipe, looking a little telegraphed, as he does. But I think he's going to land that big shot, probably put down McVeigh, or if he doesn't sleep McVeigh, he's probably going to sub him via arm triangle or some weird shit. So, or some basic shit. Arm triangle, rear naked. Nothing like too wild with this guy. Alright, Bruno Ferreira is not like a heel hook guy. Okay, this guy's very generic when it comes with that. He's very vanilla with his submissions, and I kind of like that from the kid. So, Bruno Ferreira is the lock. Yeah, moving on. Oh boy. The battle of the heavyweight rejects. Alright, both men fighting for their contracts. Alright, you have Ryan Spann taking on Lucas Breadstick, whatever the fuck you want to call him. The guy who fraud checked Robellis, or Walter Walker, not Robellis to Spain. That was Walter Cortez Acosta and Austin Lane. Not this fat fuck. There's like moments where Bretsky's like a real fighter. And there's moments where Ryan Spann's a real fighter. He subbed Oven St. Peru. I don't even remember. Okay, now I'm kind of remembering it, but I don't really remember. You know, Ryan Spann, formerly known as Joe Rogan's pick for best fighter of all time. If we're looking at pound for pound list, we all know on a Joe Rogan list, this guy's top 15, maybe top 10 pound for pound all time. But he's not that good. You know, he lost to Smith twice. That's important to note. And he looked like absolute shit in this Waldo Cortez Acosta fight. Waldo is becoming a name at heavyweight, which is shocking to say. But it is just like, Ryan Spann fucking sucked. Like, skill for skill, he's the better fighter than Bretsky. So I think I'm probably going to go with Ryan Spann. But, like, he is dumb as fuck. And if Bretsky comes in here, like, Bretsky could do anything, and it would not shock me with how dumb Ryan Spann is. Ryan Spann could get chinned by Bretsky. That's not out of the realm of possibilities. Ryan Spann doesn't have a great chin. He got wobbled really, really badly by Waldo Cortez Acosta, and Waldo doesn't really hit that hard, you know? So, and that's a heavy, man, that's rough. Also, Ryan Spann could just do some dumb shit and get caught while doing a spinning fucking wheel kick type shit, get caught really bad afterwards. If Bretsky comes in with the flying knee, Ryan Spann would probably dip into the flying knee after seeing he's about to do it. So it's a rough one to pick, but I just have this feeling that Ryan Spann's going to come in here and just latch up a guillotine, you know, via full mount position. I can just see it for some reason. Or he pulls guard and gets it, and everyone's like, oh, why the fuck would you pull okay, I didn't tapped type situation. Because Ryan Spann is a dumb bag of bricks. I don't think he takes his career seriously. I don't even think he trains at this point in his career, I'll be honest with you. And I just think, like, both of these guys are gonna get cut. Fuck, man. Just cut both of them. You know, before they do walkouts, just cut both of these guys. I'm gonna go with Ryan Spann via round 1 sub. Bro, why the fuck are people picking KO? What? That's crazy. Ground and pound by Kennedy. Ooh, that Mick Porkin loss. That's a pretty... Yeah, it's a pretty bad loss, I'm not gonna lie. It just kind of reinforces, like... Bro! Oh, no. These heavyweights are so shit. These heavyweights are so ass, man. Do I think there's gonna be back-to-back round 1 finishes? Fuck it, I'm doing it. Fuck it! Round 1, maybe round 2 submission. For whatever reason, I'm having dreams here of just Ryan Spann guillotine from full mount position, fucking Lucas Brzeski. Alright, maybe he gets him to the cage, holds him against the cage, looks like he's about to do something athletic, pulls a guillotine. I just think it's going to be a really fast motion into locking in a submission, almost like Pantoja, the way he locks in his submissions, where it's just like under the chin or something, and the guy's fucked. I just think that's going to happen with Brzeski. I think Brzeski sucks. Yeah. But I would not be surprised if Ryan Spann gets chinned here. Moving on, Jimmy Crute versus Marcin Prachnio. Okay, yeah, interesting. Okay, I'm gonna go with... Okay, young blood here. I was not in the Jimmy Crute era, AK, where he was considered a fucking monster at light heavyweight, before 2020. Listen, Prachnio ain't that. Like, he's not like ranked level light heavyweight, as sad as that is. This is at light heavyweight, right? This isn't, what is it? Yeah, this is light heavyweight. You know, maybe it would have been something weird, like a middleweight type shit. I don't even fucking know. Jimmy Crute's a diversity hire. I'm convinced. I don't know why the fuck this guy's in the UFC. This guy is so shit. Alright? Rodolfo Bellato fucking sucks. Okay? And Jimmy Crute couldn't find a finish in round 1. I get why it was a 10-8, and I get why they didn't stop the fight. I think, like, 9 times out of 10 it doesn't get stopped. If Jimmy Crute's name was Jimmy Nurmagomedov, maybe they stopped that fight in the first round against Bellato, but I just think, like, Jimmy Crute is just an NPC. Like, I don't understand how the fuck this guy's in the UFC. I don't understand how they let him unretire. This guy's shit. I watched both of his Alonzo Meadowfield fights. Bro, he's lost to Anthony Smith. Jesus fucking Christ. Jamal Hill! Oh my god, man. Yeah, I watched both of his Alonzo Meadowfield fights. I thought he lost both of them. I thought he looked like shit in both of them. And, yeah, there's just nowhere where I think he's good. If he gets the back, he could find a submission. True. That's true. Prachnio's no savant on the ground, okay? But Prachnio strikes me as like a Gunnar Nelson without the grappling ability. So kind of just on the feet, touch, not really finish you on the feet type of style. You know, maybe a little bit like Ponzinibbio. A little bit more Ponzinibbio-esque. Where his hands are typically pretty low and he is pretty open on the feet. But like, bro, I'm just going to be rooting for the guy who's a fucking warrior, you know? I think he could find a finish on Jimmy Crute. And if he does, it'll probably be in the early rounds. He could, honestly, he could find a finish in any round. Jimmy Crute's probably going to gas out after round 1. When was this guy's last fight? A year ago, eh? Modestas Bukkake. But this is, that was, you know, prime Modestas. That's locked in Modestas Bukkake, okay? Modestas is, you know, he's recently locked in, alright, at light heavyweight. So, you know, Devin Clark, at least it's a win. You know, this guy's not fucking winning. You know, William Knight, that was the name I was thinking of, where he just leg kicked the shit out of. I think he set a record for leg kicks in this fight. William Knight didn't throw a goddamn strike. Ooh, that Felipe Lins loss is it's not a good one though. This one's rough. Like, Prachnio wins don't they kind of don't outweigh the losses of Jimmy Crute either. These guys are both like shit, like really, really shit. I just think Prachnio stinks less, you know? Like, out of all the shit in the toilet bowl, I think Prachnio stinks a little bit less. So I'm going to go with Prachnio via decision. Probably 29-28 split. Something weird like that. I just don't think Jimmy Crute can win. I think if it goes to the scorecards, he gets robbed. Even if he's winning the fight. And I think if we're talking about who's more dangerous, Jimmy Crute's got to get the back. Marcin Prachnio can light him up on the feet and stuff takedowns. And realistically, he just needs to stuff Jimmy Crute's takedowns. I think anyone can stuff Jimmy Crute's takedowns. His takedowns are pretty shit. I think Paul Craig could stuff Jimmy Crute's takedowns, you know? So, yeah. I'm going to go with Prachnio. Moving on. Adam Fugitt versus Islam Dulatov. Adam Fugitt, a little bit of a nerd, if you will. God damn. That's disrespectful as fuck. Number 197? Is that the division ranking? That'd be crazy. Coming off a win to Josh Quinlan. Okay, that's pretty fair. Yeah. Year ago. Don't really like that. Yeah, this dude fights once a year. Mike Mallet. I remember that one. He looked like an absolute can. Got crushed like it. And he fought like fucking nobody. Damn, he fought Michael Morales 3 years ago. That's kind of a crazy, interesting. Yeah, I don't know anything about this guy. I haven't seen him fight. He fought at Sparta. Okay. Listen, Josh Quinlan was clearly like sauced up or something. For everyone to be so hyped on him, and then he got fraud checked by, I think, Trey Waters, I want to say. And ever since the Trey Waters performance, I think he's just looked like shit. So Adam Fugitt got like the shit Josh Quinlan. If I remember correctly, it was kind of like Josh Quinlan was kind of doing his thing in moments. I think Josh Quinlan was just open on the feet, getting fucking hit the whole time and not really able to do much. Adam Fugitt, this is, because I don't know anything about Islam, this is literally just how shit do I think Adam Fugitt is. Is he 10-5, 50% win rate dog shit? Or is he at least good enough to crush cans at welterweight? This is the question. This is the question, man. This is the question. Oh, fuck. This is tough. Because he is no slouch when it comes to subs. Nah, I think Fugitt's a 50-50 fighter. I do. I'm going to go with I don't know anything about this guy. I'm just going to go by decision. You know, bright lights, you know, first card. Wow, this is a first card debut for this guy. Yikes. Pay-per-view card debut for this guy. This could be a weird situation. This is what I mean, man. Bro, I know he's like minus 625, but like, brother, Bright Lights debut, already lost. It's not like this guy's never lost before. 26, young as fuck. Damn, 10-year advantage though. Holy shit. Slightly bigger with the reach disadvantage. Fucking, I've never even seen that gym before. So this is, wow, this is an interesting one. A lot of people locking in KO. Alright, well, I'll be expecting KO. And if Islam doesn't get this fucking KO, hey, people on Topology are just brain dead, okay? No, obviously I'm kidding. But moving on. Ateba Gutar versus Robert Valentin. Middleweight Francis Ngannou versus some dude who just keeps on taking rough fights. Like, what the fuck is Valentin doing? I know he got smoked by Loader, and a lot of people don't really credit Loader. But that Torres Finney fight was, like, kind of depressing to watch. I don't really think it was a robbery. If you ask, like, the Guru cult, you'll probably find everyone fucking pitchforks and stakes and probably rallying behind Robert Valentin. But I don't think Valentin's that good. I don't think he's that good anywhere. He's very open on the feet. He's kind of chinny. His boxing isn't that great. Like, power's not really there. Like, I mean, why the fuck would you take this fight? Like, if I'm Robert Valentin and I'm getting a list of names in middleweight, I'm looking at Jackson McVeigh, all right? Someone who looks very beatable, okay, according to the community. I'm looking at fucking, even like Char Bullet, you know? Even like fucking Jan Kutalaba, or no, wait. No, I'm thinking of Eor Poteria. Sorry, I think I'm thinking of Eor Poteria. You know, Mikhail Olenjachuk. You know, Cedric Dumas. You know, fucking... Like, I'm looking at bums at the bottom of the division. And I see Ateba Guatar. I'm like, yeah, give me that guy. Like, what the fuck are you... Ateba Guatar looks like... He looks like a fucking fully maxed out art character, alright? This guy looks like... he don't belong with the rest of us, you know what I mean? This guy looks like he's genetically altered from Cameroon to fucking kill people, okay? This is what a fucking assassin looks like. Genetically altered in order to take out all of fucking white kind, okay? Like, this guy looks like a murderer, okay? Exactly like Francis Ngannou, if you know, you know, but, yeah, I don't know who the fuck would pick Robert Valentin in this, given Robert, like, there's nothing from Robert's fights in the UFC that would give you any inkling he beats Guatar. And listen, like, Guatar could get fraud checked. I don't think Guatar is going to be this, like, unbeatable killer forever. But if we're looking at prospects, like, I'll be honest, this isn't going to be technical. I think it's just Ateba Guatar by 15-second KO via Robert Valentin being an NPC. Like, I don't see any other way around this. You know, I think Ateba Guatar is going to go in here and take his fucking head off. Like, the guy's open on the feet. The guy's takedown defense is lacking. Like, if I'm Robert Valentin, maybe I'm trying to initiate an out-of-nowhere wrestling pace for 3 rounds. Better than Torres Finney ever could have wished from his fight. But, fuck, man. Like, this is a rough fight for Robert Valentin. I don't know why the fuck you would take this. You know, but I respect a man who's got these tattoos. I believe those are, like, Nordic Viking ruin some shit. Alright, I respect it. Okay? So... I think Ateba Guatar wins this by first round racism, first 15 seconds, decapitation on the white man. Yeah, moving on. Francisco Prado versus Nikolay Verenikov. I was going to say, I don't remember this guy. This guy lost to Austin Vanderford and Danny Barlow. Danny Barlow, I remember. He's the big rangy dude, if I remember correctly. I don't know. This guy's like... I don't know anything about this dude. I don't remember any of these fights. What the fuck? These are, what, UFL. Whatever. Ultimate Fighting League? Like, what the fuck? But... Oh, damn, man. Danny Barlow. Trying to go through the memory vault. I don't know. Nothing. Bro, I can't remember anything about this Verenikov guy. He's kind of old, to be fair. Damn, man. Oh, wait. Is this... Oh, this is at 170? Ooh. See, if this was lightweight Francisco Prado, I'd be all over Francisco Prado, self-admittedly. Because Prado is a punching bag. He is just like Drew Dober, who's like... maybe slightly faster on the feet. A slightly faster on the feet Drew Dober, but like equally as dumb and equally as hittable. But I don't like him at welterweight. Like, at welterweight, he just looks chubby. Like, I really don't know, man. This is... If this was lightweight, I'd be like, alright, it's gonna be Francisco Prado any way he wants. This guy's tough as shit. He was able to survive Daniel Zellhuber. Tough as fuck. But I don't think, like, Daniel Zellhuber's that, like, you know... I don't think he's the benchmark for power punchers. but I do think Prado is, man, like, oh, I'm really trying to go through the memory vault. I don't like doing research, and I just like using memory here, but holy shit. Danny Barlow split decision. Like, nothing. Like, is this guy just an NPC? Was he just put here with a fake record? I can't fucking remember a goddamn thing this guy's done. I can't remember him inside the cage doing anything. Fuck, man. But I'm worried because, like, bro, Prado is just a punching bag. I think this is going to be plot armor Prado here, okay? And I mean to say that by he's going to get a fluky, some sort of finish. Alright? I think he's going to get a fluky KO. He's going to snap his 2-fight winning streak so he stays a young prospect in the UFC division. But I do think he's just not going to look that great out there. I think he's going to look hittable. I think we're going to see him wobbled probably. And I'm basing that purely because, bro, this guy's tiny for welterweight. Why the fuck is he going welterweight? Like, you're literally... I'm really concerned about this pick purely because, like, brother, why the fuck... we'll do late rounds. You know, he's got okay cardio, I guess. So we'll do a late round, maybe 1-1 going into the third. His corner's telling him, you need a finish. He finally locks the fuck in. But, like, bro, just real quick, why the fuck, as a prospect, who's only lost inside the UFC, whose career's been... what is that, like 45%, 40% or some shit in the UFC. Alright, going against some tough comp, like Jake Matthews, like Daniel Zellhuber. You know, Jamie Malarkey, you know, the great Jamie Malarkey, before he got fucking ruined by Mauricio Huffy. But why the fuck is this dude going to welterweight? You're 5'10", 69-inch reach. I'm sorry, like, you're not built for welterweight, bro. Like, welterweight is now a division where, like, minimum 6 foot. And if you're not 6 foot, go to lightweight. That's just how it is for the younger generation now. I just don't understand what this guy's thinking. Making his, like, this is a Chris Curtis middleweight move. Like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like Jake, what was his name? Who's the fat fuck that went all the way to... Wasn't Jamal Pogues. What the fuck was his name, bro? He was a middleweight who went to heavyweight and got shit on by Mo Usman in a robbery decision that he should have won, but he got eye poked like 4 times. Fuck. Whatever the fuck, Blubberman. Whatever the fuck. Josh, Jake, whatever the fuck his name was. It's just like, brother, you're 2 weight classes up. Like... when I see Francisco Prado out there, I think arguably he can make fucking a featherweight, you know? So, well, I'm going to go with Prado via some finish during any of the rounds, but I reckon like a late round stoppage just based on how the card's going to go. Yeah, well, we'll go with that. But I'm kind of worried this guy might get out-muscled or some shit from Nikolay Varednikov here. Moving on, Marvin Vettori versus Brendan Allen. Dumb versus dumber, as some people say. And it's anyone's guess which is which. You know? Some may call them the Two Stooges. Alright? Others may call them the guys who fucking tried to break into the Home Alone. Alright? You have Brendan Allen being that tall fucking dude, you know, trying to fuck with Home Alone dude. And then you have this dumb fuck. Alright? I'm trying to remember their names. Alright? But... yeah, this one's a little rough, I'm not gonna lie, because this is literally like, who's dumber? Whose IQ is gonna cause them to lose? Because that's what it's gonna be, okay? Marvin Vettori's IQ is dumber than a bag of bricks, and he will think he's up on the scorecards, even though he's landing 1 punch for every 3 he's being hit by. But, he is tough as shit, he's not gonna go down, he's hit with clean strikes all the time, and it never cracks that chin. Could this be the time? I don't think Brendan Allen's that guy. But he is dumb. He will just stand in front of a fucking sledgehammer hitting him square in the face. Brendan Allen is a dumbass. Every single grappling opportunity he has, he almost fumbles because he'll pull guard when he shouldn't be pulling guard. He'll try to reverse position when he has top position. He'll try to like go for back takes from full mount and then fail a back take and end up on bottom all the time. He doesn't learn from any of his fights, it seems like. He really doesn't improve. Arguably robbed Chris Curtis in the rematch. This is a rough one. Because if we're talking about who I like more, I like Brendan Allen a little bit more. Because I do think he's a family man. I do think he, cares about his career. I just think he's a dumbass. Like, I do think he's, somewhere on that spectrum, And he can't take criticism well. All right, so his corner is going to be filled with a bunch of yes men. And if you don't know what I'm referring to, Brendan Allen blocks anyone on social media that says anything negative about him, This is a tough one. I'm not going to lie. Brendan did just lose to Fluffy, though. And, that's kind of like... Here's where I'm really confused. Marvin Vettori just lost to Roman Dolidze in a rematch that, arguably was justified for Roman to win the first fight they had, I'd say. So Marvin technically hasn't won a fight in how long? If we remove this Roman Dolidze one, which, really close, his last win was Paulo Costa. 4 years ago. It's kind of a rough stint. This guy's 31, man. Brendan Allen's 29. What the yo, these guys are the dumbest young bloods I think I've ever seen. Yeah, the Jared Cannonier one, he got his fucking clock absolutely rocked, bro. Jesus Christ. He actually got fucking murdered in that fight. The guy's a 40-year-old man. To be fair, it's aged pretty well, because I think he set a record in that fight. Robert Whittaker lost. It is what it is. Damn, Amavov, eh? Arguably, this should be a 3-fight losing streak, and this should be him fighting for his career here. This is just is Marvin gonna be dumb enough to stand there for 15 minutes and not throw back, or is Brendan Allen gonna be dumb enough to pull guard, try to do a scramble and end up on bottom and just fucking get laid on? This is the problem. And you know what? I've been thinking about it. Listen, Marvin, he's not the greatest striker. He's not the greatest grappler. He's below average everywhere, but his toughness is there. Bro, Brendan Allen still gasses out in 3-round fights, I want to say that Chris Curtis one was a 5-round main event. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was a 5-round main event. I think this Nasruddin Amavov one was also a 5-round main event. But this Hernandez one was a 3-rounder. I get it was a grappling situation. But, he, gassed out after round 1. He looked broken. He looked defeated. Bro, I don't know what it is with Allen. I don't see him winning this one. And this is, I like Allen, and I want Allen to do well in every single fight. But he is just a dumbass. So I reckon we're going to get a finish out of Marvin Vettori here. Late round 3, TKO, ground and pound. Brendan Allen does something fucking stupid. This guy got smoked by Sean Strickland and Chris Curtis. And I think if you're physically built anywhere, you're a problem for Brendan Allen on the feet. And that's not because of, what's it called? It's not because of, his opponents being good on the feet. It's just because he really doesn't have a chin, and he's open on the feet. He fights like Paul Craig with only 1 point more investment into his chin. That's it. That's really it. He's open on the feet. He'll be on the back foot. He doesn't set a good pace. I can't remember the last big shot that Brendan Allen took well. I think Marvin will, in a fight, you'll eventually get hit. That's just going to happen, right? I think if Marvin just lands one good shot, it puts down Brendan Allen. Not because Marvin Vettori's his finisher on the feet. Not because Marvin Vettori's a better striker. Purely because Brendan Allen is that dumb to just walk into a clean punch. You know? So I wouldn't be surprised if Brendan Allen gets smoked here. I'm going to go with Marvin Vettori. You know, I think this is going to be a rare Marvin win here. Vintage Marvin, if you will. Just fucking in his face, you know? Fucking screaming in his face. While doing nothing but staring at him. While being jabbed and everything. But Brendan Allen's, like... I'd pick Brendan Allen if I knew he could push a pace. I don't think he can push a pace. Like, Roman Dolidze doesn't have a great chin. But he'll run in there. He'll try to take your head off. And he was doing really well against Marvin. Like, spinning elbows and shit. He was making Marvin, like, actually Marvin actually had respect for Roman on the feet. Because of the way Roman was striking. Brendan Allen's not going to get the respect. And I think all you need to do if I'm Marvin Vettori is just walk Brendan Allen down and you win. And that's it. Where Brendan Allen, he needs to get the back and fight for a submission. You know, he's not going to be able to finish him on the feet. So I got to trust he survives for 15 minutes with Marvin Vettori. I can't trust it. Moving on to Kyler Phillips versus Vinicius Oliveira. I'm not going to take too much time on here. I've never been on the Kyler Phillips train. And I'm still not on the Kyler Phillips train. I think he sucks. I think he has gas tank problems. I think he only beat Pedro Munoz because of cheating. And people just forgot that when he was fighting Rob Font for some reason. Everyone's like, Kyler Phillips is the real deal. He masterclass Pedro Munoz. And nobody does that, man. Not even Sean O'Malley did that, man. Kyler Phillips eye poked and nut shotted Pedro Munoz like 40 times in that fucking fight. If we're looking at actual numbers, probably 5. But it felt like every single minute he was getting some sort of foul, man. So, while he did beat Pedro Munoz, and arguably that was a close decision that, you know, you could have went the Pedro Munoz side, just saying. Like, the Harney Barcelos win has aged a little bit better, I guess, but, like, bro, these guys aren't even in the fucking UFC anymore, but Kyler Phillips just sucks. Like, if you took Yair Rodriguez's skill set, like 1-for-1, open on the feet, but wild kicks, you know, does spinning stuff sometimes, sometimes a little wild on the feet, but you dialed everything back by like 50%. So yeah, he's wild on the feet. He'll throw like a question mark kick maybe 3 times around, if that, and that's about it. Yeah, he'll do some spinning stuff, maybe once around. But he can't push a pace. And Vinicius Oliveira, he will let you win the fight, but he will be dangerous the whole time. And, you know, I reckon maybe even a 3rd round finish. But I reckon this is going to look a lot like the Bernardo Sopai fight, where Oliveira is going to look breakable. Oliveira is going to look like he's losing. And then, like, 3rd round props up, and he's, like, confident as shit, goes in there. Fucking Kyler Phillips is just... you know, some people are even accusing him of using PEDs to look as good as he did before his Rob Font fight. I picked Rob Font in that fight, bro. Kyler Phillips does fucking suck. I don't understand what people saw in this Kyler Phillips kid. Could he win and get a fluke KO? Yeah, it's possible. Vinicius Oliveira isn't like a fucking... I don't think he's a savage killer in the division. Don't get me wrong here. But he is like good enough to get it done, I think. I think we've seen him against grapplers, you know, the Ricky Simone win. We've seen him against really good strikers, Bernardo Sopai, the Ricky Simone. You know, Said Nurmagomedov that's a really good win. Said's like a pretty good striker, you know, that guy's really fucking good. And for Vinicius to be able to shut him down the way he did, Oliveira's an interesting dude, you know. Only way I see Kyler Phillips winning is via fluke. It could happen. But I think this is Oliveira. He's going to look breakable, but I think it's either going to be 2-1 via the decision, or he gets a finish in the 3rd after being down 2 rounds. That's kind of how I see it. But, yeah, I think it's going to be 2-1. I reckon round 1 is going to be Kyler Phillips. Like, a clear, like, oh, Vinicius Oliveira is breaking. It's going to be like plus 150 live odds. People are going to be betting the shit out of Vinicius. And then round 2 starts up. Vinicius looking savage, drops Kyler Phillips. Kyler Phillips looks breakable, is able to survive. They get to round 3. Vinicius tries to do some wild shit like a spinning wheel kick, like a flying knee. They both go for a flying knee at the same point or something like that. Kyler Phillips lands a nut shot, maybe stalls a little bit for round 3, locks out Vinicius Oliveira from getting a finish, but Vinicius is good enough to finish the fight, either in round 3 or by decision via 2-1. Moving on, Michael Johnson versus Daniel Zellhuber. I love Michael Johnson in terms of his fights. His fight against Justin Gaethje, I think, is probably the best war in the UFC. Listen, man, I've watched a lot of fights. Rebecki versus Orobai, Zellhuber versus Ribovic, all right? What else is there? Recently, at least, Manel Kape, Bruno Silva, Joshua Van, Brandon Royval, I've seen, Randy Brown, Nicholas Dalby, I've seen the wars this year, and years prior. I do think every time I see, when I'm thinking of the best scrap of all time, it's either Michael Johnson, Justin Gaethje, or it's Dustin Poirier, Dan Hooker, in my opinion. It's between those two, and nothing even comes close. Rory McDonald versus Robbie Lawler was sick, but if we're talking level and skill and everything, Dan Hooker and all those guys are much better in my opinion. But Michael Johnson, Daniel Zellhuber. I got a lot of respect for Michael Johnson, okay? He's got some of my favorite highlights. And he is on a win streak, I think, right? 2 fights? Yeah, 2 fights. Darius Flowers, a nice win where he out-grappled Darius Flowers after Darius Flowers blocked him on social media. That was a funny time. The Ottman Azaitar win, great win. Good, nice KO. Daniel Zellhuber is beatable, right? There's ways to beat Daniel Zellhuber. And I wouldn't, bro, Michael Johnson is the dude to get a fluke KO. And Daniel Zellhuber is one of these guys who looks very fluke KO-able, if you know what I mean. He just looks like the guy who's going to eat a head kick one time a little too high, or someone's going to kick a little too high, land that head kick, and fucking sleep out Daniel Zellhuber. But this should be Zellhuber, bell to bell. Everywhere. He's got the reach, he's got the length. I know Michael Johnson in his post-fight interviews and everything, or before fight interviews, I should say, he's going to be yapping about experience, and I truly believe I'm one of the best, and a win here puts me in the top, title conversation. That's probably what he's going to be saying. Give me Justin Gaethje, give me that rematch, type of shit he's going to be saying. But I do think Michael Johnson is one of these guys who's kind of, because he's old and because he's been fighting the way he's been fighting, he's locked into his style, and there's just certain tells and certain times where he's open on the feet that is consistent amongst every one of his fights, and there's certain times where it's he's going to get hurt here. There's certain times where he's going to try to shoot here. You just know what he's going to do at a certain point, and the blueprint's there. I don't think he's got the same speed. I think Zellhuber's going to win this one. Zellhuber definitely strikes me as the guy who could choke when faced with an experienced vet, a nice crafty vet. But I think this is going to be the shifting of guards here. The Zellhuber smokes Johnson, probably round 1. I wouldn't even mind a crafty vet decision, to be honest with you, but yeah, we'll do round 1. I mean, it's Michael Johnson at the end of the day, 40-year-old guy, right? So, could fluke a KO. I'll be rooting for Michael Johnson. I was pretty high on Daniel Zellhuber until his Esteban Ribovic fight, where he was so clearly trying to rob Ribovic and act like it was a robbery decision. It was close, but I think I picked Daniel Zellhuber, but I think Ribovic was clearly up in 2 of the 3 rounds. I mean, what the fuck did he do in round 3? He didn't do shit, all right? He got knocked all over the place and fucking was on skates. Arguably could have stopped the fight. It was a sick fight, but I just don't think Johnson's got it in him at the end of the day, So I'm Zellhuber. I'm pretty high on Zellhuber, but don't count out the dogs on this card. All right. Moving on, we have Dan Ige, Patrice Chihuahua, as some people call him, but I'll call him Pitbull. All right. I'll show him the respect he deserves. All right. Being a Bellator champion, beating Michael Chandler. Okay. Hey man, listen man. I reckon Dan Ige wins this via late KO in round 2, early in round 3. And the reason why I say this is I've heard some takes on Patrice Pitbull. I didn't know any of his fights. I didn't know any of the names on his fucking record other than, like, obviously Michael Chandler and shit from Ryzen and Bellator and all this other shit. I didn't know any of his stuff before seeing him in the UFC. Could it be, like, bright light jitters and stuff against Yair? Sure. Did he have success against Yair? Sure. He almost latched up that submission. He caught Yair here and there. Kind of in a way, almost a close 29-28 decision against Yair. I do think Yair fucking sucks, though. And I think he's a free win for any... Like, I think Dan Ige beats Yair. Hot take, maybe. But, honestly, I need to do some research before I make an official pick here. Because this comes down to one thing and one thing only. Does Dan Ige have a child on the go right now? Does he have a bun in the oven with his woman? Does Dan Ige have a kid on the way? Let's find out here live. Dan Ige does not have a child on the way. He and his wife welcomed their son in April 2021. Well, this is AI. AI probably gets it wrong. But I heard she was pregnant, I think, the last time he fought. And that was... Damn, that was 3 months ago. Holy shit. By the way, I will say this, okay? Dan Ige struggles with high-level grapplers. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think you have to have... an Aljamain, Mozavar, Evloev... type grappling credentials or grappling skill to, like, fuck with Dan Ige. But I just don't think Patrice Pitbull is a high-level grappler. He's the type of dude that strikes me in the Yair fight. I don't think his wrestling's high-level. I just think he could fucking fluke a submission out of nowhere. Heel hook out of nowhere type shit. Knee bar out of nowhere type shit. Fucking... That's the type of vibe I get. But the dude is tiny. He's old. He's kind of slow. All right. I know he caught Yair going in, but Yair's almost said a bad word there, guys. But Yair is really open on the feet. Okay, that's what I meant to say with the you get me. But Yair's really open on the feet. I think Yair does suck. He's just got tappy kicks. That's about it. But I think this is going to be primarily a boxing fight. I think Pitbull is going to honor Dan Ige in the pocket. And here's what I'll say, man. The Lopez fight, kind of a good performance against Lopez. In hindsight, short notice, everything. But that was a 3-timed made weight Lopez, okay? Then you have Lerone Murphy, okay? Lerone Murphy... He's a tappy runaway type of dude. All right. Bryce Mitchell, he just got good takedown entries. The Lord gave him strength that day. It is what it is, right? His win over Touchy Feely flatlined him. That's an impressive win. Even though Touchy Feely has showcased he's got brain damage now, in terms of running his head into a guillotine. Okay. The Sean Woodson fight was a brutal fucking robbery. I know Dan Ige was up on the scorecards 2-1 or 2-0. Somehow, but this was the worst stoppage in UFC history. Sean Woodson was literally getting up, not from being knocked down, just from trying to shoot a takedown, but he's just so awkwardly long that he was like sort of bending down like he was touching his toes, but he was actually attempting a takedown. And as he was reaching his head up, the ref just stopped the fight. That was one of the worst stoppages of all time. Sean Woodson was going to get robbed blatantly. I thought Sean Woodson was up. It was 1-1, worst case scenario. I thought he was up 2-0, I'll be honest with you, against Dan Ige. But the thing with Dan Ige is you got to not give him opportunity. If you give Dan Ige opportunity to, like, box with you or to, like, challenge you, That's where Dan Ige shines. You have to play that Yusuf Zalal, Calvin Cater, like, be on the outside. Or you have to play the Aljamain Calvin Cater, where it's get the back, walk in the fucking backpack, and just sit there. Patrice Pitbull, I just can't see doing it off that Yair Rodriguez performance, and I'm basing this only off the Yair Rodriguez performance. I think this is just because he's probably getting, like, a decent paycheck. I think he's going to run in there and shoot for, like, a war early on in round 1. And I think someone's going to get tagged pretty bad. I think this is going to be, like, one of those sneaky good fights where it's just going to be a fucking boxing war between the two. And I think Dan Ige is just going to have the upper hand, you know? Very rarely does Dan Ige have the physicality advantage. I'm talking like size advantage and reach advantage here. Very rarely is that the case. And the fact that it's the case here, he's the younger fighter too. Like, he's not going to get finished on the feet. Like, Patrice Pitbull's best opportunity is a fluky submission or being a boring wrestler. I don't think Patrice has it in him to be a boring guy. I think he's going to try to go for that big shot. I think he will connect a few times on Dan Ige. I just think 50K, he's going to try to shoot for that 50K bonus and get a finish in the 3rd round. Maybe even early in the 1st. I think 1st or 3rd round, you know. I think if it makes it to the 2nd, it's going to be like just a war in the 2nd, you know, if it makes it to the 2nd. And I think the 3rd is going to be Patrice got a little too much tread on the tires and he gets finished, you know. Strikes me a little bit like a Mike Perry style where he kind of just walks into punches sometimes. Like, he walked into a lot of what Yair was doing, you know. And if you do that with 50K, I think 50K puts you out. That's just how I see it. Moving on, Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodriguez. I like D-Rod. I said in his last fight I'd be rooting for him, even though I was picking against him. Turns out, hey, the G still got it. D-Rod still got it in that bloodline. Alright? And now this might be the most aura photo I've ever seen of D-Rod. He does not look like this now. He's got a bad bald spot. He does look his age, and he is looking a little flabby. Locked in Kevin Holland. This is going to be a quick one, because it's getting fucking, holy shit, this prediction's getting long. I'm just going to keep it a buck. I'm picking Kevin Holland, because if Kevin Holland wins, and I didn't pick him, I'm going to be fucking pissed, alright? This guy, I have a 0% win rate with, alright? So, if you're gambling right now, put the fucking house on D-Rod. Alright, I'm not your financial advisor, okay? But, I have a 0% win rate with Kevin Holland. I can't fucking get any of his fights right, alright? When he's fighting McCall Olenjachuk, alright? I think McCall's, you know, he's battled light heavyweights. He's fighting a welterweight. Gets fucking smoked via a fluky armbar. Okay, early stoppage. Bullshit. Plot armor prevails. Okay, whatever. He keeps his job. Then you get the Roman Dolidze one. And I'm like, Roman Dolidze sucks on the feet. Kevin Holland's got this one. Roman Dolidze goes in there and fucking submits Kevin Holland. Makes him look like a bum. Alright? Makes Kevin Holland quit because of a rib injury. And then, oh, what's that? 3 months later, with this broken rib, he shows up to fight Reiner de Ritter. And I'm thinking, well, Reiner de Ritter's not going to get a takedown because he looked like shit in the Jared Mearshart fight, and he got wobbled by Jared Mearshart. So if Jared Mearshart's wobbling him, surely Kevin Holland, a guy who's got way more power, got way more reach, and just way more athleticism than GM3, is going to fucking smoke this guy in round 1, right? No. He gets smoked. I can't fucking... Bro, it pisses me off, man. Then the Gunnar Nelson one. I'm like, okay. This is where he's going to lose his career. Finally, no more Kevin Holland. Goodbye, Kevin Holland. I'm losing my shit with this guy, man. Then he beats fucking Gunnar Nelson. Makes me look like an idiot, even though I thought that fight was pretty close. 29-28, either side. Alright. What a weird fight that was. You know, Kevin Holland at one point fucking trying to get an arm bar well on the side of him while he's standing. It was really weird shit. And then the Vicente Luque one. I'm like, it's Luque's era. The Darce choke rises. Alright? The Darce Knight rises. And then he gets fucking submitted. Alright? So I just can't take this shit no more, man. I can't pick this guy's fucking fight to save my career, bro. Say all this to say that locked out Kevin Holland, I hate, is a bitch. Nobody give a fuck about 45-70. Alright. And he's still a bitch for the shit he pulled on the Rampage podcast. Just saying. But he's active. And if he's actually locked in, because in his last fight, when they were doing the walkouts, I was predicting him to be like, I'm not really training for this fight. I started to just fight to fight. You know, I'm not really concerned about that. He did seem locked in. He is getting cracked a lot more. Something that needs to be mentioned. He's getting cracked by some big shots recently, all right? We're seeing Kevin Holland get dropped. We're seeing Kevin Holland go a little limp on the feet, okay? Maybe he's acting. But D-Rod, I hope I'm wrong and he gets the KO. However, I'm going to pick Kevin Holland because if I don't pick Kevin Holland and he wins this fight, if he wins this fight, call out Joaquin Buckley. I just need to see it at welterweight. I think we all need to see it. Buckley, you know, on Fraud Watch, just saying, it was very embarrassing. I know he's came out and owned up to how embarrassing that loss was to Kamaru Usman. Hey, you're on fraud check, Buster, all right? So I need to see Kevin Holland welterweight versus Joaquin Buckley just to see what happens. However, picks Kevin Holland. I want Daniel Rodriguez to win. Moving on, Paulo Costa versus Roman Kopylov. I feel like I'm a big Kopylov fan. And as a Kopylov fan, I'm picking Paulo Costa. Listen, I've seen some people be like, what the fuck are you picking? Bedtime MMA. What the fuck are you picking Paulo Costa for in 2025, bro? On his last couple fights, what is this guy fucking done? And listen, man. Hey, man, listen, man. He's wobbled Robert Whittaker in round 1 with a spinning wheel kick. Okay, that needs to be addressed. Okay. He beat Luke Rockhold. That aged pretty well. Luke Rockhold has crushed some cans at Karate Combat. Okay. And he just lost to Sean Strickland. Even though it was a split, Sean Strickland was a minus 5,000 going into the final seconds of the... or he was a minus... I think it was minus 4,000 going into round 5. Just saying. So the split decision is just bullshit. And I hate the people that even want to say that that fight was close. It was fucking not. Paulo Costa, his biggest weakness is when you, like, make him not want to fight. When you tag him with big shots and you're making him wobbled, he's scared to go in. He's scared to get highlighted. I think that PTSD from the Israel Adesanya fight's there. I don't think he wants to ever get highlighted, and that's where I think he sucks on the feet. But if we're talking skill for skill, like, he's not that bad on the feet, you know? The Robert, like, bro, he lost to past 2 years, he's lost to Robert Whittaker, Sean Strickland. 2 former champs. 1 was recently champ. Like, those aren't bad losses in hindsight. Where, no offense to Roman Kopylov, I like this dude, alright? I'm glad he's still alive, because, you know, apparently there was, you know, some stuff going around in his area. Okay, but Cesar Almeida fight. I picked Roman Kopylov. Cesar Almeida, you know, that fight was pretty close. You know, Anthony Hernandez, he did get fucking slaughtered in this Anthony Hernandez set. That needs to be mentioned. Some people are like, oh, Roman Kopylov's got great takedown defense. No, he fucking doesn't, okay? He fights mostly strikers. Chris Curtis, he's never going to shoot a takedown, all right? Cesar Almeida, not going to shoot a takedown, even though I think he did. Josh Friend, who, you know, Claudio Ribeiro, again, who, you know what I mean? This guy's like, these guys are bums, all right? Cesar Almeida's accredited kickboxer, but that's where Roman's, like, background is. And, bro, what is crazy, if this was like, man, Paulo Costa, he's 35, man, he hasn't won in a while, you know, like a real win on anyone on the active roster, you know, crazy, man. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like Roman Kopylov isn't getting old either, man. Like, bro's almost 35. He's literally 2 weeks younger than Paulo Costa. People forget, man. So, it's just like, brother, I'm a big Kopylov fan, and when he's against a can, Kopylov by masterclass any fucking way King wants. But Paulo Costa is like a legit rank. Like, there are some unranked middleweights that give him problems, don't get me wrong, right? Like, Bo Nickel could give him problems, we don't know, okay? But, like, I don't think, like, Paulo Costa, I think, would beat Shara Bullet. Paulo Costa, I think, beats, like, MVP at middleweight, okay? This guy is a legit filled-in middleweight. There's good odds he even fucking misses weight, to be honest with you. the thing with Paulo Costa is that, bro, like, you have to make him not want to fight. That's how you beat him, right? Robert Whittaker was surviving in round 1, and then round 2 and 3 sort of started picking up his steam. But it was like, if Paulo lands the biggest strike he can on you, like with that spinning wheel kick flush on Robert Whittaker's chin, it's a little demotivating, being like, damn, that didn't get him out of there? Oh shit, you know? If Paulo Costa's fighting Sean Strickland, and Sean Strickland's always in his face, popping a jab, popping a teep, you know what I mean? Like, it is demotivating to fight against that, but that's the style he's been fighting. Kopylov isn't that. Kopylov is like more of a wait for a counter strike, you know, and then sort of capitalize on the counter strike. And listen, the Chris Curtis fight was kind of close. I had Kopylov winning that. That stoppage was utter bullshit. He would have won that 2-1. Kopylov. But it is just like, bro, Kopylov, he is open on the... he is... If you took Yair Rodriguez striking, sprinkled a little bit more power on there, all right? A little bit more power on that Yair Rodriguez striking, lowered the technique by about 10%, all right? And removed the grappling. And that's what you get. You get Roman Kopylov at middleweight, right? I do think his, like, takedown defense is good when he knows he's against a grappler. I feel like Paulo Costa, if he wants to win this fight, he's going to win it via grappling, like grapple heavy on Kopylov. Bro, Anthony Hernandez is not built for middleweight. That guy is not like a legit middleweight. Listen, I know he's like beating a lot of thick dudes at middleweight. The guy shows up with the stomach and he looks like he barely trains. Physique-wise, just saying, right? There's times where he looks locked in, but I'm saying majority of his fights, right? Even recently. He even says he actively doesn't even watch fights. But it's just, like, man, getting ragdolled by Anthony Hernandez like that is such a bad look. I can't... If I'm Paulo Costa's corner, I think he trains with Henry Cejudo. Bro, now is where you go Paulo Nurmagomedov Costa, you know? This is where you go your grappling era, and I would just push a grappling pace. Paulo Costa can't go 5 rounds. And he has this style where he does look gassed, and he's sweaty all the time. Like, he's just gonna look fucking drenched in round 1. But I do think Paulo Costa's gonna win this one. You know, Kopylov to win this one, in my mind, has gotta outpace Paulo Costa in a 3-round fight, which is... I don't really know if he can do that. You know, the last guy to do that was Robert fucking Whittaker. I'm not gonna sit here and say Kopylov is as good as Robert Whittaker. I'm a D1 Roman Kopylov glazer, okay? He's not a Robert Whittaker. So I'm gonna say that Paulo Costa wins this by being a crafty vet. You know, at this point in his career, you know? And his losses aren't, you know... the Marvin Vittoria one's rough, but that's 3 years ago. You know, 3 years ago, this guy's losing to fucking a lot of cans. I don't even remember... I don't remember all of his fights, but there's a lot of cans that were able to beat him. I think in his early career, he went like 2-2 in his first 4 in the UFC. You know, that's kind of rough. So, damn, a lot of people. That's crazy to me. I don't know. I'm not that high on Kopylov here. You know, I'm like 75-40 or 75-25 for Paulo Costa to win this one. I'll be honest. Maybe it's a hot take, but I don't see how Kopylov like KOs Paulo Costa in any round. He's not gonna fucking submit him. You know, if we're talking about who's more dangerous, Costa's the more dangerous one, oddly enough, because Roman Kopylov does not have a great chin. Like, he doesn't. He's 34. He's getting hit pretty hard by Chris Curtis and a bunch of other guys who we now know Chris Curtis is like a natural welterweight. All right, and he, you know, Kopylov was struggling with the natural welterweight at middleweight. And Paulo Costa is arguably a light heavyweight. Okay. So it's just, I don't know. I think this is just going to be like one of those, how the fuck is Paulo Costa not testing positive for drugs type of performances where he's just bigger. This is where you outmuscle the guy, you know. They're not that far off in terms of size. Paulo Costa's bigger. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, moving on. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Hey, the best is best, baby. You know what it is. Oh boy, the main event, boys. Woo! Oh boy, my spine's already tingling, and I'm about like 3-4 days away from this fucking fight, alright? I do think this might be fight of the year. I think this is like, if you were to give odds for fight of the year, this would be like the minus 100, and everything else is an underdog. This has everything you'd want to be fight of the year, and I'll get into a little bit why. This video is already an hour long, so I'm going to try to keep it, like, a little condensed here. But, oh man, this is... I've been having dreams of this fucking fight, bro. Whew. Oh man, this is a rough one for me to pick, man. I am biased towards Dustin Poirier, and I'll get that right off the gate. Okay, I'm very biased towards Dustin Poirier. I've always thought, whenever he's the underdog in all of his fights, that he's like the livest underdog it can be. You know, I thought he was live in that Benoit Saint Denis fight, and I went against him, and I'm like, bro, I'm never picking against him again. You know, 2-2 going into the 5th with Islam, okay, on one of those judges' scorecards. But he had a good fight with Islam. But here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. These guys are as close to their prime as I think... They're equally as close to their prime. Is Prime Max Holloway right now, or is Prime Max Holloway the one that beat Gaethje? I don't know. But I'd wager the one that beat Gaethje is the prime. Like, him versus Korean Zombie, Arnold Allen, that Gaethje, that run, that 3-fight streak, that was Prime Max Holloway. Even the Ilya fight, that's Prime Max Holloway. I would say he's 1 fight removed from his prime. I don't think he's washed. I just don't think he's in prime. Because I think he's, like... Man, here's the thing with Max. With both of them. Both of them have nasty scar tissue issues, okay? Both of their faces are fucked from fighting, okay? Both of them are going to suffer CTE at an early age, alright? Both of them are equally close to their prime, in my personal opinion. Dustin Poirier, I don't think is that far from his prime, alright? I don't think that Khabib was Dustin Poirier's prime. I think that Islam, arguably the Islam, what was the one before the Benoit one? Yeah, like Islam, Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler era. Like this 4-fight streak here, that's prime Dustin Poirier. Okay? And you might see this loss and be like, damn, he lost in his prime. Yeah, he did lose in his prime. He got fluke head kicked at Salt Lake City via plot armor from Rufus, alright? As Bedtime MMA calls him. By the way, I will not stand for this fucking propaganda. If Bedtime ever watches this video in like the 10 decades I'll be on this fucking platform, alright? I will not stand for this bullshit propaganda saying that Justin Gaethje was beating Dustin Poirier until the head kick. Dustin Poirier cut him really bad on the face, near the eye in round 1, beating his ass, not pushing him, but having Rufus, alright, on the back foot the whole fight. Alright, he was boxing him up, picking his shorts up, got caught via head kick right around the guard. It was a perfect head kick, Salt Lake City, fluke, once in a billion. You could run one of those fight simulators, and I guarantee you, you run that fight 100,000 times, it never gives you the result of Justin Gaethje via head kick. He's never fucking done that before. He may have gone for head kicks and shit, but he's never done that type of head kick where it was a perfect Leon Edwards, ba-ba head kick, you know? That would never happen in a million years again. And I think 10 times out of 10, that fight convinces me Dustin Poirier... Sorry, 9 times out of 10, because he's got that one loss. He beats Justin Gaethje. He was piecing him up. Michael Chandler whooped his ass before Paddy Pimblett did. Before Charles Oliveira did. Alright? And then he lost to Prime Oliveira. And then he enters Prime, whoops, gets fluked. It is what it is. Like, it happens. You know, like... Poirier's also been fluked before. Like, he got fluked by Michael Johnson. Like, it just happens, you know? It's a Poirier-ism, if you will. Then he smokes Benoit Saint Denis, and a Benoit Saint Denis staph infection fight, so, you know, who knows what would have happened. And then the Islam fight is 2-2 going into the 5th. All right, and I'm gonna promote that narrative because I'm a Dustin Poirier glazer. Dustin Poirier is the first fight. This Michael Chandler fight was the first start to finish fight I watched for the UFC. So I am a young blood, admittedly, but I will say this, man. Again, so I haven't even been watching 4 years. I've been watching more like 3 years. Fuck, man, has it really only been 3 years? I feel like a vet in this space. I will say this, man. I'm picking Dustin Poirier. There's 2 reasons. One, I think this is a 50-50 fight, and if I don't pick Dustin Poirier in Louisiana on a retirement fight and he wins, I don't think I could ever forgive myself as a fan of Dustin Poirier. I don't think I could. I could live with the fact that I picked Dustin Poirier in Louisiana retirement fight and he gets chinned and loses, right? I can live with that. I can't live with not picking him on his retirement fight. Like, this guy's a fucking legend, all right? And listen, if Poirier wins, it'll be one of these like, damn, he should stick around and see his odds against Ilya, but I think he will actually retire this time. And the other reason why I'm picking Dustin Poirier here. Are we just going to forget that he's beat this guy twice? I love Max Holloway. I respect his personality. I even like that he's coping that Justin Gaethje hits harder than Ilya Topuria. That's just factually not true. You know that's not true, Max Holloway. You know that's not fact. But I appreciate you trying to diminish Ilya Topuria, you know? It's funny. I like Ilya Topuria too, but here's the thing, man. Both of them have, like, scar on their face issues. Max Holloway has relied on toughness in a lot of his fights. And what I mean by that, at featherweight, he's fought a lot of guys who don't have KO, that one-punch KO ability. Do some of them have it? Sure. Some of them at featherweight had one-punch KO ability. Ilya, notably, right? I think we all agree there. But are we going to pretend like Arnold Allen's a one-punch, like, knockout artist? Are we going to pretend like Korean Zombie? Volkanovski is one of the best 5-round decision. Like, if we're talking like I'm going into a street fight and it's a decision guarantee, I'm bringing Volkanovski 10 out of 10 times. Bilal can get the fuck out of here, all right? Volkanovski's the decision king. But, like, the thing with Max Holloway is that he's fought these dangerous dudes and he has been crackable by these dangerous dudes. Dustin Poirier's beat him twice, all right? I get, like, the last fight was 3-5, however many years ago it was. But he's lost to Ilya Topuria now by KO. And it wasn't like, oh, Ilya just landed a nice clean shot and that put down Max. Bro, there was times beforehand. I had it 1-1 going into the third with Max. I want to say it was the third round it got stopped. Yeah, I think it was the third round. Regardless, I had Max up on the numbers, right? Until he got chinned. But there were times where, like, Ilya would land and it would like wake up Max and be like, oh shit, I just got fucking, bro, that rocked me. Like, you can tell he got rocked even before the KO, right? And then he makes these dumb decisions when he got wobbled. Like, he got wobbled before getting finished and he tried going for like a knee up the middle, hook, hands low, not worried he's about to get chinned, gets chinned. And I know Poirier's not that style. He's not going to be the one pushing the pace here. For sure, Max Holloway's pushing the pace. But the thing with Max is I think he's one of these fighters that, listen, he is younger and he is improved. He's got more tools on the belt than any Dustin Poirier fight beforehand, right? He's got more tools on the belt than ever. But his tools on the belt are like, okay, he'll throw a spinning wheel kick out of nowhere. Okay, he's got submissions there, you know? I feel like people sleep on the fact that he almost submitted Chang Sung Young, all right, Korean Zombie. I feel like people sleep on the fact that he almost had that Darce choke in. But the thing is, he's got these added moves on his tool belt, but the moves that he's consistently been using with his boxing and his like kicks and everything, they've been the same for a while, and there's no wonder why Volkanovski beat him 3 times. Ilya would beat him if they fought at lightweight, in my opinion, unless like Holloway does something crazy. And this is a 50-50 fight. Holloway could get this done. This is prime Holloway against... Bro, he's only 36, man. Fuck, man. God damn. And he's big. You know, he is kind of big for, like, he can fill in at lightweight pretty solidly. I think Holloway can. But I just think it's such a Dustin Poirier story to get it done. Like, bro, am I just going to ignore... He's 2-0 against this guy. It's going to be a pure boxing fight like the last time they fought. And the last time they fought, one of them was a champion. Like, it's just... I can't really imagine how Max gets this done other than doing something that we've never seen before. Like, that's kind of how I see this fight. Because I see Max pressuring... Dustin Poirier, you know, he's been covering up a lot, but he'll cover up and he'll throw with some fucking bombs, bro. Some nukes in those fucking diamond hands, all right? And when they catch him, I think it might put down Max, man. And I don't want to see it, but I can see it. You know what I mean? So I think Dustin Poirier gets it done. I think he's got heat in his hands. But this is a 50-50 fight, and I'm purely picking Dustin Poirier. Like, this is... I'm just picking him because of narrative and everything, but I do want my boy to win, all right? I want him to retire on top. And I won't be betting on this fight. I think I might have $2 on a wild parlay for Max Holloway. But I think Holloway can win this fight. I think he could win by decision. I think he could win by KO. I just think, like, bro, there's going to be times... Let's say it gets out of round one, and this round one pick for KO is mainly because I think Holloway is going to, like, be like, yeah, this is my time. I'm going to get eager, try to go for that highlight like he's been talking about, and try to get his name back in the mix over a round one win over Dustin Poirier. Tries to go for it. Dustin Poirier is covering up, and Poirier swings back like he does and catches Max while he's got his fucking hands low like he's always got, man. You know, that's why I got that round one KO locked in. But I think there's just going to be times like Holloway needs to be winning 3-0 going into the fourth if this is a decision fight. He needs to be winning 3-0. If it's even questionable in his corner and they're like, I don't know, it's close. You know, Max, you're down on the cards. You're going to need to start getting after it. He's almost like Strickland where it's like, bro, there's no way Holloway's just going to randomly get this KO power out of nowhere. He slept Gaethje because they both agreed 10 seconds they're going to go all out. Gaethje got slept. Gaethje was also seen at a UFC event like a week before their fight being pulled out fucking drunk, okay? There was a lot of shit around that Gaethje fight that a lot of people forget, man, all right? But that's a one-of-one performance that will never happen again. And I'm not going to let that highlight skew how Max fights. Like, Max he'll get after it if his opponents let him get after it. But Poirier makes you pay when you get after it. And that's why I think he wins. Like, I think this is a fire type going against a grass type, bro. You know, this is a rock type versus a fire type. You know, Dustin Poirier's got a lot of weaknesses, as the rock types do. You know, if you know ball knowledge, you know what I mean by that. But he does beat this fire type, let me tell you. This guy's got fucking heat. He's cooking, as the fire type does. But this rock type, he's going to be the one to do it. That's kind of how I see it, man. So, these are my picks and predictions for UFC 318. I do think it's like an overall mid-card. Prelims are good. Main card's shit. Main event is great. But there should have been a championship fight. I forgot the BMF belt here. Also, can we just all agree? It'd be so much better for the UFC for, like, removing this dumb BMF shit, if Dustin Poirier gets the win, gets the belt, retires with the BMF belt, and now no one owns the BMF belt, alright? Even though technically Ilia Topuria owns that fucking belt. So, this is how I see the fight going. 50-50. But I'm alright with my boy Dustin Poirier. He's 2-0. I think he's just the rock type to Max Holloway's fire type. That's how I see it. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, I want to thank you for watching. And as always, I hope you have a good day.